Video games have always brought people together, both through competition and cooperation, which is why I felt like it would be a disservice to everyone subscribed if I didn't list off some of the best indie co-op and multiplayer games that were released this year. This video is comprised of indie games that were popular among critics, fans, and myself, so I hope you use this video as a tool to discover some games that you might have missed this year. Now let's not waste any more time because we have a lot of great games coming up, including a personal favorite I teased at the beginning of this video. Let's get into it. First on the list is Omega Strikers. It's a game made by former League of Legends devs that mixes elements of the globally acclaimed MOBA with Windjammers. Like most hero-based games, your character defines your role in the team, and you are equipped with special abilities to support your efforts. I found that the small team size makes everyone feel like they're playing a pivotal role in the action, but also leaves room for skilled players to take control of a match. I think there's a lot of room for this game to grow and get polished up, but I personally had a lot of fun with it, and I think the general hero character sports genre has a lot of potential, so I honestly hope more games like it start to pop up. Omega Strikers is one of the hottest indie multiplayer games of the year, and it's also free to play, so go check it out on PC today. Spiderheck is a simple but charming multiplayer brawling experience. You'll parkour around the map in an effort to absolutely obliterate your friends. This game is all about the clip-worthy moments everyone can scream about at the end of each round. It features a variety of over-the-top weapons and a pretty wacky web traversal mechanic that come together to produce some extremely chaotic matches. If you and your friends like unserious but engaging games to pass the time with, look no further. Duel in a Sea of Sparks in Spiderheck on Switch, PC, PlayStation, Xbox, or Game Pass. Since I'm located in the Pacific Northwest where they do a lot of snowboarding, I gotta give a shout out to Shredders. This game was met with a lot of excitement from fans that remember the SSX glory days, and while it doesn't go to the extreme levels of some snowboarding games of the past, it does provide a pretty realistic snowboarding experience to have fun with. Did I immediately skip through any and all story related content? Yes, but did I also really enjoy the relaxing feeling of launching off some ramps and chaining together some pro stunts in the free play mode? Also yes. I played this by myself, but I can't imagine how much fun it would be to hit the slopes with a full squad. It's not often we get a solid indie sports game, so find a friend group to start fabricating some semi-believable snowboarding stories with on PC, Xbox, and Game Pass. TMNT Shredder's Revenge is up next. When this game was revealed, we were all hoping for a sweet hit of nostalgia, and judging by the reception, tribute games delivered with an instant classic. In Shredder's Revenge, you'll get a squad together unlocking your favorite shell crime fighter in this side-scrolling beat-em-up. The game captures that classic feel of playing in the arcade with a slightly modern remix. It has all of the standard attack moves you would see displayed on a genuine arcade cabinet, plus some sick combos and abilities unique to each character. As a bonus, the game also features an incredibly sick in-game soundtrack. I played local co-op with a group of 4 and it was fun, but also extremely chaotic because of all the on-screen action. So I can't even imagine what the 6-player session will look like. I love that a relatively small team was able to knock such a popular and cherished property out of the park, so show some love and pick this game up on PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, PC, or Game Pass. If there's one thing I learned after Animal Crossing New Horizons, is that people love their social sims, which is why the next game is Dinkum. Yes, Dinkum. This game is basically a hybrid between Harvest Moon, Animal Crossing, and Stardew Valley. To some of you that will mean nothing, to others that will mean everything. In this game, you'll explore the Australian outback to gather resources that you can then use to build your dream town. Just like other games in this genre, you can craft, decorate, fish, shop, catch bugs, harvest materials, and of course, swim with crocodiles. That's really only scratching the surface though, because for an early access game, I'm actually quite impressed at the amount of things you can do. Best of all, it has a fully realized multiplayer without a lot of the restrictions that we all complained about in New Horizons. The reviews have been extremely positive, but as always, do a deep dive before picking up an early access game. When you're ready, get your dink on and Dinkum on PC. Next up, we have an entry with an asterisk. Raft has been in early access for a while, but it had its official and final release this year, and is without a doubt one of the most hyped co-op survival games on the market, so I couldn't leave it out. The original premise of crafting and surviving at sea seems like a caveman concept compared to what the game is now. The content has expanded to the point where you're not only hunting and exploring islands, but you're also building complex raft forts, exploring snow tundras on snowmobiles, infiltrating labs, and I wouldn't be surprised if you could somehow find a way to the moon. Point is, there are hundreds of hours of fun adventures you can cook up in this game by doing the most outlandish things you can think of. Now the game is not perfect. With all of these huge open world survival games, there are bound to be bugs and odd glitches, but if you're willing to take the trade-off, you should be in for a good time. Go punch a shark in the nose on PlayStation, Xbox, PC, Mac, or Linux. Okay, before we get to the last half of games, let's make a deal. You like and subscribe, and I'll show a montage of some great multiplayer games that have either already been featured on the channel this year, or don't need my promotion because they have a marketing budget 10 times my salary. Ship of Fools is a co-op roguelike where you and a partner will man your cannons and battle through monsters in a dangerous voyage across the sea. You'll manage risk and reward as you chart your path across the map, and once you're in combat, you'll leverage an auto-firing cannon, melee attacks, and teamwork to keep the hostile creatures at bay. As with most roguelites, you'll be able to get upgrades to strengthen your ship's defenses to prepare yourself for future battles. Aside from the gameplay, I also want to quickly shout out the cartoonish and just generally dopey art design. It's a visual style that immediately catches your eye and sets it apart from other games in the space. Ship of Fools came out just a few weeks before making this video, and it's already one of the best rated indie co-op games of the year. So far, the main complaint has been that the game is a little light on content, which is honestly not the worst criticism you can have. So if this game has caught your eye, grab your first mate and check it out on PlayStation, Xbox, PC, or Switch. We have now arrived at my personal favorite co-op game of the year. As Dusk Falls is an interactive drama where you'll follow two families whose lives have been entangled over the course of 30 years. I know, the art style for this game is extremely divisive, but regardless of your opinions on it, I urge you to just give it a try. It had one of the most compelling stories I've seen all year, and after each episode, I couldn't believe the web of outcomes that were possible based on our choices. It even has this really cool mechanic where your friends can overwrite your choices and get your favorite character killed. A really cool feature. As Dusk Falls will present you with choices where there is no clear right answer, and every decision seems to come with its own series of consequences. Within the hour, this game will have you gripping the edge of your seat as you and your friends try to rationalize how to deal with characters you've grown to both love and hate. If you're a fan of great narratives in games, don't walk, run to pick this game up on Xbox, PC, or Game Pass. I love me a good deck builder, but I would have never thought about playing a deck builder with a team. That's where Across the Obelisk comes in. You can play with up to 4 people in the first co-op RPG roguelike deck builder that I've ever heard of. You'll assemble a team of characters, craft the perfect decks, and set out on a quest to reach the obelisk. I know, the resemblance to the game Slay the Spire is uncanny, but Across the Obelisk does its best to stand out. In addition to the robust deck battling gameplay, it has character classes, map events, quests, and tons of other little details to ensure every adventure is unique. Reviews have been over the moon for this game, and I can totally understand why. The deck building genre doesn't usually get that much love in general, and adding co-op just opens up a completely new way to experience it. The one warning I'll give is that some people find the early game a bit grindy, so if that bothers you, look a little deeper to understand if the gameplay works for you and your friends. Grab your fellow deck lovers and lose hours to this game on PC and Mac. People on my best roguelikes of 2022 video were in shock that I left out Played Up, and after looking into it, you all were right. I'm sorry. I did my homework, and it seems like Played Up not only deserves a spot as one of the best roguelikes of the year, but it also deserves a spot as one of the best co-op games of the year. The community loves this one, and it's because it's basically Overcooked Extreme. In Played Up, you'll work with a team of friends to build and manage a restaurant. You're not only cooking each meal, but also serving them to customers and upgrading your business and equipment between rounds. I won't lie, I originally wrote this game off for its basic visuals, but now I can see how intricate the game design actually is. There's so many little things to focus on that make every run unique. You're managing lines, you're picking gameplay modifiers, and you're constantly trying to make your shop more efficient. I have no doubt fans of intense co-op challenges like Overcooked will love this one, but buyer beware. If you thought Overcooked tested friendships, you ain't seen nothing yet. Check this game out on PC today. Rounding out the list is V Rising, a game that exploded on the survival multiplayer scene earlier this year and is still going strong. In V Rising, you wake up as a fresh, weak, little baby vampire that needs to go out into the world and feast on enemies to gain strength. You can team up with friends, build the ultimate castle, and take on countless quests to become an unstoppable vampiric force. Just don't get caught in the sun too long. The combat is surprisingly action-oriented, with a ton of weapons and special skills to create your ideal build from. Once you have a loadout you're comfortable with, you can take down the 30+ bosses the game currently offers, or you can raid other players' castles in the PvP mode. And if you're more interested in the survival mechanics, the game features pretty deep resource management and castle customization systems to get lost in. V Rising is currently in early access, so whether you decide to jump in now at the ground floor or wait for an official release, it will be ready and waiting to serve as your next group game addiction on PC. Okay, there you have it, some of the best indie multiplayer experiences released this year. As always, I hope you discovered at least one new game to take to your friends, and if you think I left something out, which I know I did, let me know in the comments. And before you run off to spend hours in multiplayer servers, check this video out real quick for some more awesome game suggestions.